Listen, I don't know what the devil is trying to throw your way, but Jesus already took all of that to the cross. So it's time to move forward in what he says about you. It's time to take that next step. Listen, I know that breakup doesn't make any sense right now. And I know the pain is trying to convince you that this is how it will be forever. But there is something that God has been telling you to do, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I want to say this, it's time. Listen, it's not about your works. It's not about how much you can do for God. It's honestly about surrender. And when we honestly just surrender to that place called grace, we find ourselves at the foot of the cross, to which we can find that we can because he did. You know, one of Jesus' last words was this: "It is finished." This means that as he took his last breath, the plan came together. Every prophecy was fulfilled in that very moment. And that is what we need to focus on. That no matter how much time it is taking, no matter how you feel, no matter what's stacked up against you, Jesus gave you his spirit to get through this as well. Listen, God is saying to someone right here, right now, as he blew that breath into Adam's nostrils, he would breathe that same breath of life into you. He would breathe that same grace over you as you woke up, and now you get another chance to try it again. See, we got to remember that even Paul struggled in one area or another, and that's why he said this in 2 Corinthians 12:7. Or because of these surpassingly great revelations, therefore, in order to keep me from becoming conceited, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. You know, this thorn could actually represent so many things in our lives. So just take a step back and see that the place called grace is at the foot of the cross. So if your issue keeps bringing you back to that place, then you have learned the lesson God is trying to show you. See, from the very foundations of this world, he had already instituted a plan to save you from yourself. He already made a way when it looked like no way. But how are we able to see that victory if we don't talk to him? Listen, I know you thought they were your person, and I know you really wanted it to work. But right here, we have to understand that God has to work some things out in the background. So honestly, if God shut that door, then just leave it shut so he can continue his work behind that door. Listen, I felt God say, move forward. We have to stop living for somewhere up there and just stay present in this next minute by God's grace. Jesus says this in Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. So don't get so worried about what might happen or if you messed up. Just get back to that place called grace and bring all of that worry, all of those issues to the foot of the cross. Listen, I don't know who this message is for, and I don't know why God is putting this on my heart. But if you go off of what it looks like right now, you will literally miss the bigger picture that God is trying to paint in your life. You know, it's kind of like this. Just like we can't judge an entire movie off of one scene, you also can't judge the rest of your life by what's going on right this second. This is why we have to stay in that place of gratitude, worship, and joy. Because when we stay grateful for that thorn, the thorn doesn't own us, we own it. Now, I absolutely believe in deliverance and crucifying the flesh and abiding in the vine. But I honestly don't think that God will ever bring us to a place where we aren't dealing with one thing or another. Because then why would we need him at all? We would just become our own God at that point. 1 Corinthians 10:13 says it like this: no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man, because God is faithful and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. But with the temptation, he will also provide the way of escape that you may be able to endure it. So come on right here, child of God. He is faithful. He doesn't shift like sand. He doesn't change his mind. And once he enacts his plan, it will all unfold. These moments of pain can either destroy you or they can make you. So let's hold on to the second part of that. Let the pain produce something. Let it create a love for Christ that is unmovable, unshakable. God doesn't show favoritism. He doesn't look down on his children and hold their mess ups against us. That's why he sent his son for that very reason. So you could wake up and try it again. Just recognize what didn't work or what caused you to slip. And now, avoid that. Avoid that at all costs. So if your mind starts slipping backwards, just capture that thought. Look, John 10:10 makes this point. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. So don't allow that enemy to steal from you any longer. His time is up, and you are going to get where God has shown you. But it's in this process right here that you learn the tools that you need to be able to get there. And now look at yourself. You are so much stronger than you were last year and the year before that. So right now, just speak life over that situation. Speak life over what's happening and stop saying that you can't, because you can, because he did. So think about that Red Sea for a minute. This was a moment that the Israelites felt like they were done. They felt like there was absolutely no way. Actually, everything looked impossible. Because honestly, in that moment, it would have been easier for them just to go backwards. But they would cry out to God in Egypt for him to save them. The enemy was hot on their heels. There was a pressing that God was allowing to happen to get them to move forward. Because going backward was not an option. Because they had come so far. They had broke free from that slavery. But you know what I was thinking about this morning? It's about the fact that just because they crossed the Red Sea didn't mean they were going right directly into the promised land. This was just God's way of showing them who he was. Exodus 14, 15, and 16 says it like this. And the Lord said to Moses, why do you cry out to me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward. But lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. So listen, there is still work to be done. Because there is so much more that God has for you up ahead. He's trying to show you in this season who he really is. And what he's capable of when you really move forward. When you really take that next step that he's asking you to take. Listen, I'm telling you, mark my words, you are about to see a Red Sea miracle in your life. Just keep going and don't look back anymore. Your future is not bleak. Your future is bright, and you are going to tell of how God brought you through this as well. So keep fighting, child of God, because it is about to get so good. Right here at the end of this video, type this. Say, I'll be in that place called grace. Listen, I love you so much. I'll see you on the next video.